I used to think small towns were safe. Quiet streets, friendly neighbors, kids riding bikes under orange streetlights. That was Hollow Creek. At least, that's what it looked like when I first arrived. I moved there in 2018, after my divorce. I needed peace, a place to start over. My new job was at a small antique shop by the main road. The building was ancient, dusty shelves, creaky floors, and the smell of something old, like time itself. People in town were polite, but distant. They talked to you, but their eyes always seemed cautious. And when I told them I'd rented the house on Birch Lane, their smiles would fade. One man even said, "You mean the Harrington place? You be careful there, son." I laughed it off. I shouldn't have.
The house looked harmless enough. 2 floors, peeling white paint, and a porch that creaked like it was whispering. Inside, everything was still, like no one had lived there in years. That night, while unpacking, I found a small wooden box in one of the closets. Inside was a silver locket, tarnished and cold to the touch. It had initials carved inside, EMH. When I asked the landlord about it the next day, he said, "Oh, that must have belonged to Evelyn Harrington. Poor girl, she lived there before the fire." I asked, "Fire?" He just said, "Best not to dig too deep."
The first strange thing happened 3 nights later. I was asleep when I heard music, a soft piano melody, coming from the living room. But I didn't own a piano. When I got up and went downstairs, the sound stopped. All I saw was the faint light from the fireplace, flickering like it was breathing. On the table, the locket was open, and inside, I saw something new. A small photograph of a woman I swear hadn't been there before.
The next morning, I went to the diner across town. The waitress, Martha, looked at me with a mix of pity and fear when I mentioned Birch Lane. She leaned closer and whispered, "Evelyn Harrington was supposed to get married in that house, but her fiancé died in the fire. She never left." I asked if she meant she moved away. Martha just looked down and said, "No, she never left."
That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., I went to wash my face. The mirror fogged up from the steam, and as I wiped it clean, I froze. Behind me, in the reflection, was a figure of a woman in a white dress, standing completely still in the hallway. I turned. No one. But on the mirror, written in the condensation, were 3 words: "Find the ring."
I started searching the house, under floorboards, inside drawers, nothing. Until one night, I noticed a faint burn mark near the basement door. When I opened it, the air turned heavy, smoky, and for a split second, I saw flames flicker across the walls. But there was no fire, just the smell of charred roses. And in the middle of the room lay a small wedding ring, blackened but intact. That night, I heard the piano again, only this time there was a voice singing softly with it, a woman's voice, fragile and trembling. I followed the sound to the living room. There, in front of the fireplace, she stood,
Evelyn. Her face was pale, her eyes empty, but she looked almost sad. She whispered, "He never came for me." And then she vanished, leaving the locket and ring on the floor, side by side.
The next day, I got a call from an unknown number. A man's voice said, "You need to leave that house." He claimed to be the grandson of the Harringtons. He told me the fire was no accident. Evelyn had set it herself. She wanted to burn the house down to join her dead fiancé, but she survived and was never seen again. Before I could respond, the line went dead. The sound of static filled my ears, but beneath it, I could hear a piano playing. That night, I woke up coughing, the room filled with smoke. I ran downstairs, but there was no fire. Still, the air shimmered with heat, and I heard Evelyn screaming, "He promised! He promised!" The walls began to peel, revealing burn marks beneath the wallpaper. I grabbed the ring and threw it into the fireplace. Everything went silent. The flames died instantly.
I left Hollow Creek the next morning. The house was gone a week later, burned to the ground. No one knew how it started. Sometimes I still hear piano music when I can't sleep, and in my dreams, she stands in the corner of my old room, whispering, "He kept his promise." I like to believe she finally found peace, but deep down, I know she's still waiting for someone else to move into 3 Birch Lane.